Do y'all think Iori will be the next one to wield Tobimune? Let's talk about it. All right, first of all, big shout out to Nicholas who asked me about this and a couple of other Kagurabachi questions that we'll get to. But to start us off, yeah, I think absolutely that is what Hokuzono has been setting up, that Iori will wield this enchanted blade. To the point where if she doesn't, I'm going to be really surprised. And that's not to say that she'll wield it immediately. Like if Samura does get killed by the Hishaku or whatever, then maybe they even snatch up Tobimune first and then she doesn't get it till later. But it certainly feels as if the story is being paved to have her wield this sword. I mean, we know that she's trained with the sword in the white purity style basically her entire life. She seems like the perfect protege to carry that on, and also would have the perfect kind of like mission and inspiration to carry that on, be it a revenge quest for her father, right? Very similarly to Chihiro, very similarly to Hakuri, right? Not in that he's on a revenge quest, but they're all kind of bearing the weight of this burden from the previous generation. And I feel like all of these of our main cast are going to give us unique perspectives on how that's being handled. So even though she and Chihiro might very well, have a similar situation in that they want revenge for their fathers, I think Hokuzono is setting this up to show us two unique perspectives on it. Meaning that, I think Iori won't be a straight up enemy to Chihiro, because at the very least, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They'll both want revenge against the Hishaku, but like after that, what are they going to want? Are they going to share the same vision on what should be done with the enchanted blades? I think there's a lot of interesting room for cool storylines here. So yeah, I absolutely think she's going to get that blade. Unless we have like a crazy subversion of expectations here and Samura doesn't die. But in that case, I think Iori would be the one to die. But I'm still definitely leaning more towards Samura's going to bite the dust and she'll carry on that legacy. Then next up, Nicholas asked me if I thought that Hakuri would ever wield an enchanted blade, because he would be insanely busted if he had that plus the storehouse technique. And yeah, I can't even imagine. I already think he's one of the most insanely busted people because of that storehouse technique, not to mention the fact that he also has the Iso sorcery, right? But I'm interested on just how exactly it would work if he hypothetically got a blade, because we know that in order to enter an eternal contract, you must give up your other sorcery, right? So for me, I feel like that means he would probably have to give up both the storehouse and the Iso sorcery, but maybe it would be just the Iso sorcery, since the storehouse is kind of this weird, genetically passed down thing. Like maybe it would be exempt. But in any case, I don't think this will happen in general, or at least I hope it doesn't, because I kind of like the fact that he's like a main member of the squad that has this kind of other utility that he's bringing to the group, right? I don't want just everyone to have an enchanted blade. There's only 6 or 7 in the first place, but you guys know what I mean. Like, I like that he's a little bit different. And again, like, I think he's equal to an enchanted blade user. Like, not right now he's not, but like the potential he has with the storehouse technique is ridiculous. Like, it almost feels like that's why Hokuzono gave him brain damage and kind of sidelined him for now, because he's too strong. Like, the just versatility he gives the good guys is crazy. So I actually am really interested to see how Hokuzono develops this as the story goes on. And hopefully he doesn't have like permanent brain damage where he's just nerfed forever, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was nerfed for a while, or like maybe there's just some new, I don't know, handicaps on the technique for a while. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, in any case, I don't think he'll get a blade, but I also don't want him to. And then finally, Nicholas brought up just how many different teleportation sorceries and abilities we have in this series. And honestly, before you pointed it out like this, I didn't even realize. Like, I realized that like people were doing it, but I didn't even think about all the different versions that we had. So to very quickly go through them, we have my goat, Shiba's teleportation. We have the Hishaku like flame teleportation that we've seen a number of characters do now. We also have the Masumi's kind of sigil transportation, where they make, like the alchemical symbolism or whatever to do it. And then finally, we have Samura's teleportation with the feathers. And so I do see what you're saying in the sense of like, you hope he doesn't overdo it to where it trivializes certain aspects of the story. If it's just like, you know, we have all of these different teleportations that can either get us out of a hole or a corner or whatever the case may be. And I'm with you there. But thus far, at least, you know, through 70 some odd chapters, I've got faith in Hokuzono that I hope it doesn't go that direction. And I'll also say that thus far, all of the teleportations do have their your own unique feel and spin to them, where it's not just like the same thing reskinned over and over. You know, like the Masumi, they need that sigil. The Hishaku, it's seemingly connected to that tattoo on their hand. We don't have confirmation of that, but it does seem to be something different than, say, Shiba's teleportation, which I feel like is the most impressive because he just touches you and boom, you're out. And he didn't have any tattoo, right? So it seems to be maybe his innate sorcery, whereas other people are kind of mimicking that. Now, is that like literally his ability in the same way that, you know, Hakuri's is the Iso ability? Or is Shiba just that built different that he's that good at teleportation? I don't know, but you know, and then Samura's is of course related to his enchanted blade. But so I guess ultimately I see what you're saying, but I have faith that like it's all been done well enough so far that hopefully we don't get into any of those pitfalls. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this one. Be sure to let me know all of y'all's thoughts down in the comments. And Nicholas, again, thank you so much, man. I love getting Kagurabachi questions, and thank you guys for watching.